All right, what's up guys? How are you guys doing? A little bit stressed right now because I'm literally leaving for New York as we speak. My suitcase is unpacked right there. I literally have to be at the airport like right now. But we wanted to shoot this video before because we were actually using two FX3s for this shoot, and we actually purchased one of the FX3s specifically for this shoot. And there's just a few things that we did to the camera that we made sure we had in order to make the most out of the camera while we are on set. So today I'm gonna give you 5 quick tips to help you elevate your FX3 so that you're ready to go the moment you get it. The first tip that I have is before you actually get the camera, also get a cage when you get a camera. The number one thing that's helped us the most using the camera has been getting a cage because you can mount different things on it. I've been using it to mount a light or even just handling it or mounting it vertical onto a tripod or onto a gimbal. There's just so many uses for it. I highly recommend it. We personally use the Tilta cage for the FX3. I think it's the same one for the FX30 because they're the same size, but I would recommend looking into either small rig or Tilta. Those are typically the lower end, lower budget sort of cages that are available on the market, but they're both very high quality. We personally like the Tilta one. It looks a little bit cool, but it's super useful and it allows you to mount, again, quite a few things to it, which comes in handy as you're shooting and you never know when you'll need it. So highly recommend. First tip, get a cage as you are purchasing the FX3. Second tip I have would be to get the Sony Creator App. So they just launched this app, I believe last year, and I didn't hop on it right away. I've only been using it here and there just to sort of play around with it, but it can double as a monitor. So you can use it as a monitor, an external monitor, if you want to be able to see your footage a little bit better. Obviously there's a little bit of a lag. You can plug it in, I think. I haven't figured that out yet, but the number one use that I've had for it so far, which also leads to tip number 3, is that it allows you to update your firmware through the app. So no more going on the computer, plugging in your card, downloading the firmware, putting it onto your card, plugging in your card into your camera, and then updating it manually. You can basically just pair the app to your camera, download the firmware, make sure you have a card onto your camera, make sure your camera obviously has enough battery, and then download the firmware from the app. It'll download it onto your phone, and then you can transfer it over to your camera, and then from there download it. So it makes it so seamless. But again, those are kind of 2 and 3 tips. So first of all, get the Creator app. You can use it remotely as a monitor. And number 3, you make sure that your software is always up to date. There's a few features that are in this new software update, like shutter angle, and just a few things to make sure that you have access to all the new features. The fourth tip that I have is something that you probably don't always think about when thinking about the FX3 is that it actually does still shoot stills. We don't use it very much for photos, but it does shoot stills. And for example, on this trip, I'm just using it for video, but I'm not bringing in an extra camera because we're already bringing 2 of them. And so I wanted to be able to shoot photos with it. But one of the things I found very annoying is that whenever you switch from video mode onto the photo mode, it would keep the same settings. So the same shutter, the same ISO, the same aperture. And so when you would switch back, if you needed to increase your shutter, it would keep that shutter when you're shooting video. And so it was very tedious and very long to have to switch back and forth, and it made it just almost impossible to hybrid shoot. But I found out looking online that there is actually a way to separate those 2 settings so that when you flick from the video mode to photo mode, you can have separate settings per se for each mode. So basically all you have to do and go into your settings, you find the place where it's at. I'll put all the details on the screen, and you just have to make sure that it's set to on and you're good to go. So if you ever want to take the odd photo, you can just simply switch to photo mode, take a couple of photos, increase the shutter speed if you need to, and then switch back to video and you're ready to go. So I highly recommend you guys set that setting. It makes it a little bit easier if you guys plan on taking a few photos with the FX3. Now, the 5th and final hack that I have for you guys is installing custom LUTs. So obviously you can look at your footage as you're filming through S-Log, which is very boring, and it doesn't really give you a good idea of the depth and the sort of the shot. It's not really motivating. But you can also use Rec 709, which is also great. But what I did find was that it didn't really give me a good idea of the final look as I was shooting, but also as you are exposing for S-Log 3, it tends to be very bright on the monitor. So you can't really see the contrast. You can't really see the depth of it. And so I found that by creating my own custom LUTs or using LUTs that I use just to be able to view or to edit, and then sort of dimming them down a little bit as you're exporting them, and then installing them onto the camera allows me to get a better view and a better impression of the final look. All right, so those are my 5 tips in order to make sure that you're leveling up your FX3 and you're ready to go and you have the best settings available to you. Good luck shooting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit a thumbs up, subscribe. If you have any questions on these, for example, we might shoot a video on how to export LUTs because it is a little bit complicated. There's a few details that I found. There's like 2 different ways you can do it. It's a little bit complicated, so we might do one of those. So please leave a comment below if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I gotta head to New York, so I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.